Wife is from Rewa, Madhya Pradesh, so it's always happy to come back to my Sasural state, which is Madhya Pradesh. So I hope I can make this an annual pilgrimage to your college, and please involve TCS. Okay, now on to a little more serious things. We are ahead of schedule, which is very Wipro, Cognizant, Accenture, so many of these great big companies, Indian companies who are making a mark worldwide. Then you have to be a little above your normal academic knowledge. When you are interviewing 100,000 students, all Bs would have cleared their B, otherwise they are not eligible to apply for TCS. So what is the differentiating factor between you and the others to get into a top college or a top university like TCS? And that is that little extra knowledge outside the curriculum, outside the syllabus that you're taught in your college. That when it comes to IT, there is a huge difference between what can be taught in academics because of the way university is, the way it takes time to form syllabus. Students sometimes may not get exposed to the latest in IT. The professors on their own will teach, but the syllabus may not change as fast. So it is your project work that you do, and it is seminars like this which you attend, it's the external reading that you do. Today I have collected for you some of the best research done in the world in IT, and I'm presenting to you. These 45 minutes, if you absorb, if you take notes, if you understand what we are talking about, is what is going to give you that edge in the interview. In the interview, we as interviewers never ask what is taught in college, because we know when you graduate, we'll see your marks. If you are 75%, then you obviously have learned well what was taught to you in college. To give you that extra mark, to get into a top-notch company which is world leader, that little extra is going to come from the next 45 minutes. Because these are the trends which are not only going to shape the IT industry, but which are going to open up new careers for you in the next 3 to 5 years. So both from a knowledge point of view and a career point of view, career planning point of view, you need to understand what's happening in the IT industry. I'm going to divide my presentation in two parts. One is, what is the status of the international IT industry and how is it affecting the Indian IT industry? And the second part is the 10 top trends which we saw in 2010, which are going to shape your careers. It's no longer enough to say I want a job in computers. That was okay 10 years ago. Today within computers, you need to know exactly where you can be placed. And if you know that and you study towards that, be assured that a very good international company is going to pick you up. So let's take the first part first. What is the status of the IT industry? You know, 2 years ago, IT industry was like an ICU patient. It was gasping. It was on its last breath. You need to understand what had gone wrong with the IT industry, what is the status today, and how does it look in the next 3 or 4 years when you will be taking those crucial first steps in your profession. In the last 3 or 5 years, one single word which has dominated the IT industry, which had influence not in the IT industry, its growth was in the banking industry, but which severely affected IT industry, is called subprime lending. And you need to understand this a little bit. I know engineering students generally don't study economics, but I want to spend 5 minutes in explaining to you, because then you will realize how this trend is going to affect your career and my career in the future. In India, if you want a loan to buy a house, you go to a bank, you go to HDFC or similar institution, you take the papers, they do the evaluation of the house, and they say, okay, please pay 10-20% yourself, we'll give you a loan, and over the next 10 or 20 years, you pay back that loan. And they'll charge you a certain rate of interest. This, in banking parlance, is known as prime lending rate. In India, it used to be 19%. Today, it's anywhere between 12 to 13%. This is prime lending rate. It's an interest for giving you that capital. American bankers thought they will go one step forward. They decided that if you're worth getting a loan, we'll give you at a certain lending rate, which used to be about 7 or 8% in America, mortgage rates. But they said if you are a little bit more risky and you may not have the ability to pay back, then we are going to charge you a little more premium in the interest. So they started charging 12 or 13%. Which means that if you are a bigger risk, you pay more interest, maybe even 17%, you get a lot of money, you buy a house. This fuels easy money because a lot of people who are otherwise not eligible for a housing loan could get money from the bank. They went and bought houses, housing prices started rising, and for some time everybody was happy. But American bankers forgot the first rule of banking. That if you cannot pay back the loan, if you are a risk, you should not be getting the loan in the first place. And that is exactly what happened in America. People who had taken loans could not pay back. And remember, a bank is almost like a lending library. You borrow a book, when you return it, somebody else can get it. Bank doesn't have a mint, it cannot keep producing money. When the first set of people who should not have got a loan defaulted and could not pay back the loan, the next set of people could not get a loan. With the result, the housing market started crashing, and people who had earlier taken a loan and whose house they thought was $200,000 suddenly found that if they wanted to sell the house to pay back the loan, they would not even get $100,000. Why was this important to the IT industry, and that too in India? Because 40% of any IT industry's business comes from banking. When banks started losing profit, they started cutting back on IT. Along with the banks, like in India, banks in America also do insurance. They invest shareholders' funds in stock market. All these industries started getting affected together. What is known as BFSI sector, banking, financial services and insurance, accounts for 50% of an IT industry's, any IT company's portfolio. So Indian IT companies suddenly found that 50% of their customers had no money to hire IT services. 50%. Half our market just disappeared. It also had rolling effect. If banks didn't give money, industry and commerce started coming to a halt. People were not traveling that much for business, so airlines industry got affected. People were not using telephones. Telecom industry got affected. Because banks were not lending money to industries because their money was locked up in real estate, manufacturing got affected. All these industries together is about 80-85% of TCS or Infosys or Wipro's business. So from 2005 or 6, where we were barely flying, making money, all of a sudden, in 2007, customers' IT budgets just dried up. And IT companies came back and said, look, I know we are doing this much business with you, next year it's going to be hard. What do IT companies do? First thing they did is stop hiring. Because already people who were there, 25-30% of them were on the bench. What is on the bench? You're being paid money by the company, but there's no work for you. And you're being kept in the hope that soon business will change, or more business will come in. As people were on the bench, hiring stopped. Most companies just stopped hiring completely. TCS cut down from 30,000 people a year to about 10,000 people a year. A lot of people who in 2007 had a job offer in hand were told to join 3 months or 6 months later. So even with a job offer from a good company, young students like you were sitting at home waiting for the call to join. It was a very serious issue. The whole IT industry profits were down, bonuses were down, hiring was down. It was almost going to be a sick industry. After 20 to 25 years of huge profit and growth, IT industry was suddenly shaken. What do companies like TCS do in this? Apart from cost cutting, which is less hiring, less bonuses, we tried to see if Europe could pick up. Because if America was down, maybe European companies, one could try and increase business. But Europe economy is all put together much smaller than the huge economy of USA. China opened up for some and took up some of the surplus, but the rates, the fees that you're getting in China were much lower than in America. Because there, IT was giving a competitive advantage. People were willing to pay extra to get software early. China, the internal competition is much less. So the need for software was much less. So 2007, 2008, real bad trouble. What has happened? Well, America got a new president. The new president got in effect a whole lot of new policies. Banks were told to be a lot more careful. There were huge bailouts given, trillions of dollars government gave the banks so that they wouldn't collapse. Just like in India, in farmers' loans, a lot of state governments have had to write off farmers' loans because farmers were not able to pay back the loans, farmer suicides were going up, so farmers' loans were written off. Similarly in America, banking loans were written off, or some subsidies were given, some help was given, and the banking industry has started recovering. Where is it as of now? Well, the good news is that the downward trend has stopped. The bad news is it still isn't like this as yet. It's still like this. So it was an aeroplane at 60,000 feet, it was going straight down. Now it has leveled off at about 10 or 20,000 feet. And we are seeing signs of recovery, but it's going to take 2 years before the flight can reach back the good old days of, say, 2005 or 6. However, IT industry, because it did not recruit for 2 years, there are huge vacancies. And we know that if in 2012 or 13, big business is going to come back to India, it takes 6 months to recruit a person because we make offers in the 3rd year end or starting of 4th year. You need to graduate with good marks and then you undergo some training. So if we want people in 2011, we have to start planning in 2009. If we think the market opens up in 2012, which all indicators are that IT industry is going to recover, then we need to start recruiting today. So I'm very happy to inform you on behalf of the IT industry that all the top 5 or 6 companies, the recruitment levels are far higher than last year. There are now a whole lot of new jobs coming up in the IT industry. And definitely by the time you all graduate, I think in June of 2011, there will be sufficient job offers for everybody. That's really the good news. However, the number of engineering colleges which have opened up all over India far exceed the requirement of any one industry, leave alone IT industry. Manufacturing hasn't caught up that much. So, between retail, manufacturing, infrastructure and IT, maybe 70-80% of the engineers will get a job. What we therefore need to do is add that little bit extra to your resume, add that little bit extra knowledge in your interview to make sure that you are in the top 80% and not in the bottom 20%. In a lot of colleges in the year 2007-8, maybe there was 20% placement. Last year it might have gone up, but it was 30-35. But it's still not going to be 100% this year unless you put in a little extra effort. So my suggestion to you is, invest the last 6-8 months in not only your academics and studying well, but reading outside your academics. finding out where the industry is headed, what are the hot trends, how will you be able to make a difference in that interview, in that crucial 20 minutes, 30 minutes that you face an interviewer, is your chance to display your knowledge of 4 years, to impress the interview panel. And if at that time you're not absolutely sure of your knowledge, it shows on your face, it shows in your answers. And just that slight difference between you and the next colleague who comes in will make the difference between a very good company or just a mediocre company. So let us look at now the 10 top strategies, technologies which were prevalent in 2010, which in turn are going to guide the way your careers will be shaped in the next 3 or 4 years. So those of you who are from the, I think almost everybody is from the IT industry here today. I think so. I know there are MCAs here and final year BE students. And remember, even if you are a mechanical engineer or an industrial engineer, there are openings for you in IT industry as well. So IT industry has different requirements of people, from MBAs to MCAs to people with what we call domain knowledge, knowledge of business. So if you are a mechanical engineer and you know how stores function, you would be an excellent candidate for implementation of stores management systems in an ERP. So I think whatever I'm saying is going to appeal to all of you. Even if you are not part of the IT industry today, you are going to be users of IT. My generation used a lot of paper and pencil, and I actually graduated with a slide rule. I don't think any of you have even seen a slide rule. But your generation, when you work, are extensively going to use computer systems. Even if you are not on this side of the computer system, as a user, you will need to know what are the top trends today. So let's look at some of the big trends in IT industry. What has been the criteria to select these IT industry trends? There were many trends. How did we come out with the top 5 or 10 trends? We looked at a trend which is likely to create